Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Vox Caster. I'm your host Dan, and joining me today we got Kier Edward,
Hey Dan, how's it going?
Brian Robichaud,
Hey,
and Justin Gray.
Hey,
So first and foremost, welcome to the new year, guys. 2021, we finally made it after 36 months of 2020.
woo!
Well, I mean, hey, it definitely felt more than what it actually was, but you know what? Things
To
are
be
looking
honest, I
up.
felt like it flew by.
Yeah, well, stuck in house doing the same thing all the time. Of course, time's
Yeah,
going to fly by.
but it was all those COVID projects.
So how much
Life
is
kept me
actually painted,
busy.
Brian? How much is actually painted, though?
Well, sold the Death Guard, so that doesn't count anymore.
True. Yeah. No, so to everybody listening, just hey, Happy New Year, guys. This is the very first episode of the new year, and we're just going to kick stuff off with something just plain and simple. We're going to have just a nice sit and chat. We're going to kind of do a little bit of a review of the year. We had 6 months under our belt. We tried a couple of different projects, kind of talk about how they went, what our thought process was on it. We're going to talk about some projects we are currently working on through the channel and personal as far as Warhammer goes, and kind of give you guys a little bit of an update on some stuff that we've been kind of discussing about, stuff that we've been working on, kind of some goals that we want to get done in 2021. And we really want to get your guys' feedbacks on some of this stuff because on a lot of our episodes, one thing I do notice is there's not a lot of comments. And to be honest, comment away, guys. Like, we really want to know what you guys actually think on the content we're doing because we do this for ourselves because we love it, yes, but we also want to give you guys quality content. So if you really enjoy what we're doing, like, hey, give it a like leave a comment, be like, hey guys, I really enjoyed when you guys did this. Or if we're doing like a topic and there's something that we might have missed, or there's something that you guys would actually like to see added onto it, leave it in the comments, or even go over to our Facebook page, give us a couple of ideas. Like, we've had some friends kind of pitch some ideas, and it's definitely stuff that we're going to be throwing into episodes later on. But it's stuff like that that's going to keep us kind of giving you guys fresh content, giving you guys the quality content that's going to make you guys want to keep coming back week after week and kind of check out what we're doing. So yeah, so let's just start off year in review. So we've been kind of been pretty steady now for about 6 months. We started up at the beginning of July, and we tried a couple different things from kind of just introductory stuff because ninth edition essentially kicked itself off right as we were coming out. So I remember myself and Justin, pretty much episode one, we kind of went over, excuse me, the contents of like the start collecting box, stuff that we were kind of pumped to see coming in a new edition. Then we also followed up with a couple episodes with stuff that we've been seeing revealed through ninth edition as far as stat lines, as far as new abilities that's kind of being introduced into the game, as far as the actual movement phase, command phases, and so on and so forth. So, looking back at it to you guys, at the beginning, whenever we were like just getting into ninth, and now it's like 6 months later, how are you guys enjoying ninth edition as a whole? Just starting with yourself, Brian. Like, how do you find overall now with a couple of games that are you enjoying it more than eighth, or do you find eighth was better, or yeah, just kind of a little bit of your overall thoughts?
I like ninth. I like ninth better than eighth. Like I find games are more fair. They're evenly matched. It's a lot tighter than it was in eighth. Found eighth, you could get blown out turn one, turn two, and there was really no chance of coming back. But with ninth, at least I can stay in to almost turn five. As Eldar, I'm usually cleaned up by then, so usually got to stay ahead before that point. But no, I personally, I've been really enjoying ninth, so I'm really excited to see what happens with the Eldar codexes. Like as I'm sitting here building my Incubi with that new blender stat line.
Yeah, hey, I mean, Drukari's due up for January, but again, where Death Guard kind of got pushed from December to January, I'm gonna guess that probably in early February we'll be seeing that.
I think we're gonna get pushed about March.
Oh, don't break my little heart, Brian.
Well, you got Dark Angels coming out too sometime in between. So if they're gonna release every
Screw
2
Dark
weeks,
Angels. Who even plays Dark Angels? Come on.
no one wants to admit that because they know they're gonna go to chaos.
So how about yourself, Kier? How are you enjoying ninth?
I think it's great. There's obviously some power disparity between the codexes right now that will get ironed out over time. But I think there's been a nice diversity of top factions winning tournaments and stuff. I mean, some parts of the world haven't been affected like other parts. So there still has been, like Australia's had a fairly decent tournament scene, and you've seen armies like Tyranids that were just gone from eighth because they just couldn't sit there and dish. I mean, eighth to me, sort of echoing off what Brian said, was just sort of who can kill more faster than play the mission for the last 3 or 4 turns, right?
No, true.
And I think they've sort of uh, reeled in the necessity for killing power versus playing the missions, and I think that's breathing a lot of new life into some factions that just didn't have that. So I think so far it's shaped up well, and there were some early feelings about it, sort of skewing a certain way and favoring a certain unit type that proved not to be true. You are still seeing people bringing Lords of War. Hordes are not dead, despite what people thought. A lot of it's nice to see what it's evolved into, and it is too bad that it released when it did, and what happened has happened, as far as like the state of the world right now. But let's not make that about that. So I've enjoyed it so far. I really have. I like not feeling forced to run the same lists all the time. And basically, if you can write a list, if you have a vision for how it plays, you could be successful in ninth. Whereas eighth, it was like, yes, but how much indirect fire do you have? So
Yeah, it was kind of the same topic to everybody. It's like who can stand back, shoot you at the farthest distance, and kill you faster. And it was plain blank. That's all it was.
yeah, so I think they've done a good job so far. I think they've done a better job writing the rules as well. I think there's a lot less. There's still instances that come up, but I generally find that there seems to be a definitive answer for a lot of the stuff. Whereas um, I remember towards the end of eighth, there was a lot of conversations about, you know, if you travel to a certain part, or go to a different shop than the one you normally play at, or a different tournament than your normal area, there's a chance that rules are just ruled differently.
Mm.
And in the early days of ninth, they said they wanted the same version of 40K to be played around the world, which I think resonated with a lot of people who were kind of tired of the competitive sort of rules as written versus intended sort of
Mm.
stuff. And I think they're not there yet, but they've definitely taken a solid step in the right direction. And I think overall it's been good for the game.
No, no, definitely completely agree with. Like I said, you looked at it, and no, definitely. Justin, how about yourself? You've definitely got a lot of games in your build in the last little bit practicing with your Sons of Medusa. So, how do you find overall Nine's been treating yourself?
I think it's nice. Pretty much, I played a lot of the campaign at the start, not competitive.
Mm. I think a
Which,
lot of us were kind of the same boat. Like that Crusade was fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
I really enjoy Crusade just because it it makes you kind of want to not play any name characters. So you veer off of name characters for little customized characters of your own.
Mm.
Which I enjoyed. Like I was running a captain in gravitas armor just because I thought it would be fun. Never done that in a in a game before, and he turned out to be a beast.
Well, especially once you get the upgrades, and like I find it just when you're playing Crusade, when you're playing narrative, and you're actually giving buffs and upgrades to guys that actually do something in the story, it's just like it gets you that much more involved. Being like, man, when I went into that campaign game and like I took down a Helldrake, and yes, this is a throwback to Craig whenever he actually killed a Helldrake with some no-name Joe Blow with Power Fist. But it's just like, but when you're writing the narrative of that story, it's just like, oh man, it gets you so much more immersed.
Hmm.
Yeah, I did have a pretty fun game versus Jag. Brian was watching it. He was throwing salt in my direction the whole time I was playing the game. But
I
yeah,
wouldn't do that.
no, Jag almost tabled me, and I only had the captain left, but I had the relic on him that healed him D3 every turn, so I just kept healing, and slowly but surely I got through.
And at the end of the day, if you took the victory, it doesn't matter how many guys you left on the table, it's still a victory.
You sound like someone who plays orcs.
Yeah, because Eldar has nothing on the table when we're done.
Yeah.
It's like turn 2. It's like, well, I got this one Calabite warrior, and I think there's a venom in that back corner.
It's when you get to turn 3 and you're looking at your army and you're like, wow, I really got to stretch this out 2 more turns. And it's like, how many more points can I bank before I'm out?
Well, it's when you don't put your full army in front of somebody either. Turn 1.
Yeah, do not line everything in front of a Sons of Medusa Iron Hands list. It does not work out good.
See, what was hard for me is I play Khorne. And then whenever you go to a Khorne army to Drukhari and you still have that same mindset, doesn't mix very well. I had to learn that very quickly.
I keep telling you to spam witches. It's basically the same.
True. It's just very scantily clad Khorne. Oh man, I should paint my witches up in the Khorne scheme. I think you're onto something right there. I'm gonna test something out. Gonna go on full on Drukhari Khorne mode.
Blood for the
Nice.
Blood God.
Blood for the Archon. Blood for the Blood Vector. I don't know. I'll figure something out.
The world naggers.
But no, like pretty much, we all kind of had the same idea when it came to 9th edition. And looking into it, like everybody went into it with a positive mindset because everybody literally said that 8th edition was like a beta test for 9, and essentially kind of was. And 9 turned out to be something that was quite enjoyable, both narrative, and we can't really say 100% yes as far as competitive, like Kier mentioned earlier. It's just, it came out at a bad time, yes. We're still able to enjoy it, but obviously, like, we don't have as many tournaments under our belt as we would like to see that full competitive aspect. But hey, you know what? Things are hopefully slowly starting to look better, except for us where we are right now. Things are kind of going backwards, but gives us a little bit more painting time, right?
By looking better, you mean our armies because everyone's been painting while they've been quarantined, right?
Exactly. I'm currently painting right now. I think everybody's painting right now.
Yeah.
Painting white. Woohoo.
Hey, I'm doing gold trim
Contrast.
for the last little bit.
Contrast is a blessing. That's all I'll say.
So yeah, so kind of go ahead.
I had to pick a edge highlighting. I sold my soul.
Yeah. No, I don't have enough soul left to sell to do that yet. No. I just add extra wash. Play Dirty Boys.
My orcs are a combination of contrast and dry brush because I still have a soul or something.
But also, you're painting 90 boys. That's just, you did that to yourself.
I did it for the true winners of 40K. Okay.
Okay.
And your boys look pretty good. I like the way they look, even with the contrast paint.
Yeah, I think they do well with contrast. I think there's some stuff, some armies and things where contrast probably wouldn't work. Like I don't think you could do it with like custodes, for example. Like I don't, with orc they have like, they're not wearing much armor. They have all these recesses. And most of their attire is like clothing, like there's all these wrinkles and stuff for the they're a good army for it.
Yeah, well, I actually, when it comes to contrast paint, I actually wanted to try them with my Lumineth Realm Lords for AOS. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try this out. It failed so horribly, I got discouraged, and I haven't touched my Lumineth in a couple of months because of it. So,
Really?
Lumineth Realm Lords, contrast paints, not so much for myself.
I've been using them since they came out because basically I went into the store and I saw it there. And I thought to myself, I could either have a painted contrast army or a barely painted non-contrast army.
No, sure.
So that's pretty much what I went with. And I will say that straight off the get-go, there are things I did with contrast that I would not have done today. I would say there's definitely, I'm going to call it a learning curve. That probably isn't the best term for it, but it's not. There is some more to it than just slopping it on, quote unquote.
Oh no, it's true. You gotta be real careful because then when it starts pooling in certain areas, and I find that's kind of where I probably fell to my own chaos. Essentially, was when I was trying to do with the robes and stuff like that. It's just I couldn't stop it from pooling in the wrong areas, and it looked too sloppy for an army that was supposed to look so clean.
Yeah, you need to pick out look for hard joints in the model and like paint that whole area quickly, and then like go back and readjust the pooling, because the paint after like 5 minutes or so it starts getting unworkable, so to speak.
No,
So
true.
you kind of have to just like get in there, get a part done, fix the shadowing how you want, like, because it as much as you put on will pool up. So
Exactly.
and that's kind of pretty much the difference between like the first time I use it and now when I do it. It's a lot cleaner and quicker now that I've done it on so many models.
Well, that's the thing. Once you get to practice, like anything else, you definitely build a rhythm with it, and if it works, it works.
Yeah.
I haven't tried contrast the way it was intended to be used yet, so I've only sprayed it through the airbrush for shadows and stuff like that. I
Actually, you know
really
what? I
enjoy
do
how
the
that
same
goes.
thing. I've been doing that on my Black Legion. Essentially, I hit them with the Vallejo black primer. Then I went over with like a white ink, and then I went over with I think it's the Black Templar contrast.
Yeah.
And like it shades so nice. Like it gives them that nice crisp but not overshadowed black armor. And
Well, on my White Scars Drukari there, I've been spraying them from underneath with Space Wolf's contrast, and it creates that nice shadow from the underside I like.
mm,
You can something I've done is you take a black and then you just dry brush it with a gray, and then dry brush it with a lighter gray,
because
and
that's what
then
you do with your scars, right?
my scars, I did something different. My scars was black into Dark Reaper into Fenrisian Gray. But the thing I was talking about a moment ago is you can actually do things like you can hit it with a metallic dry brush, like a black, for example, and then put contrast over the whole thing, and you get like this gnarly black armor look, because it brings down the shine of the silver to like almost like a muted, like, I don't know. That's always something that I thought was cool, is like black armor, and you can do that with Black Templar and a metal dry brush and just like a rattle can black, and I don't know, you can do some neat things. But that's also part of the problem with contrast is some colors are good for painting and some colors are good for technical stuff.
Mm,
And you definitely need to know what you're getting before you start.
just jumping into it. All right. So, pretty much kind of moving on to year in the review, something that I kind of introduce and I've been enjoying myself, and it's been a kind of a little bit like what we're doing now with the sit-in chat, was the get to knows. And the guinea pig to that was yourself, Kier. And
The guinea
then,
pig.
hey, you know what? The episode got some likes. People enjoyed it. Like, I find when it comes to the hobby, people like hearing other people's stories because everybody always wants to hear people talk 40K. And it actually opened up the doors for having a little interview with Mr. Craig MacArthur.
Yeah.
And we actually managed to move our way up to have the likes of Mr. Scary himself, which a lot of people enjoyed that episode. And then we had the Falcon himself for last week that jumped in for an episode. And it's fun. Like I said, you just kind of sit, chat, shoot the shit, kind of go back down, kind of relive how you got into it. And from my understanding, and again, if I need people to leave more comments, let me know. Like, are you guys enjoying this? But it's definitely getting some likes. People are enjoying to hear the talking of 40K and what there is to see beyond kind of what you've done in 40K type thing. Like, there's some stories that Scary has gone through that just made you really go like, huh, like that's really interesting. But no, definitely right now, I know Brian and myself have been working on trying to contact a couple of other special guests to kind of jump on in the community and outside the community. Like we're trying to reach out for some big names here. We're not going to say anything yet because nothing's actually cemented yet, but keep your eyes peeled to our Facebook page because as soon as we find out, we will let you guys know, or at least hint at it. But I mean, until the actual episode comes out, like I said, we got a little bit of a lineup. It's just we gotta make sure everything comes out nice and clean before we release ahead of ourselves.
Yep.
And again, if you guys would like to hear from somebody, let us know. It's easy as us just kind of reaching out to them, and either they tell us to, hey, bugger off, or hey, I would love to talk to you on a podcast. Which so far, our two first guests were like so willing, was just like, hey, do you want to come on a podcast? Yeah, sure, I'll sit down and talk. We're like, sweet, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. But another thing that we're going to be working on, hopefully a little bit more, but at the moment it's a little bit hard because of, I want to say, times of release was we kind of tried our hand at codex reviews, which I enjoy doing a lot because it gets me a little bit more familiar with armies that I don't necessarily play against or see a whole lot. But in the topic of it makes it really hard because when you got all these content creators that have been doing this for years and have a very big following, they kind of have like not so much a contract, but they have like an agreement where GW will actually send it to them ahead of time, and they can push out the content much more quicker than we can. So by the times we can get our hands on it and give it out to you guys, it's a little bit later. But hey,
It's already been beaten to death.
and that's the thing. But like sometimes it's always good to have a fresh set of eyes on it because every time you listen to an actual podcast or a review of these, everybody always has a little bit of a different look on it, and they might view it a little bit differently, especially if it's an army they've played already, or they might catch something as far as like a combo that maybe the next guy could. So again, if you guys enjoy our codex reviews, let us know, because if we can put more time into, what's that?
So we'll keep going if you let us know.
Well, that's the thing. We can keep going, and the more fan base that we can get, and the more demand that people are enjoying our review covers, we could eventually reach out to GW, be like, "Hey, we have a following. These people actually enjoy watching us go through these books. They really enjoy hearing me say words I can't say, because obviously it makes a good laugh." But like I said, maybe down the road in a couple of months to a year, we can actually kind of get one of those little contracts like other people have and actually get our hands on them ahead of time and get content to you guys much quicker than we can currently do it right now. But like I said, it's still something that we're going to continue doing. We're going to try to hit them out as soon as we can as far when they come out and we can get our hands on it, kind of go through a quick review and then write to you guys. So again, let us know. If you're enjoying it, we will keep pushing. If you guys don't like it, we'll put a focus on something else and hopefully keep you guys coming back for that.
Also, if it's something that we're keeping going or whatever, don't be shy to reach out if you want to be on an episode to talk about your army. It always helps to have somebody familiar with the army on.
Well, exactly. Like, for example, like
we've been people reaching out to us about it too. So
yeah. So like if you know there's a codex coming up and it's actually something you've been playing for odds on or years on end, like Ryan just said, like, hey, we would love to have somebody that's been playing this army for a while that can actually reference back to previous editions, being like, well, back in 7th, this is how this ran. Back in 8th, this is how it ran. Because obviously the only thing we can compare it to, it's have I played against in the last year or what I've seen online. So kind of a first-hand appeal is much better than something that's not, and it would get you a little bit more immersed.
Yep.
Now I'm trying to think back. What else did we kind of work on, guys?
What's everyone painting right now?
Right now. Right, or here. How about we start this? So we'll start with you, Kier. What are you painting? And is this a new army, or is this something you've been working on for a while?
Well, you gotta start with me, eh?
Hey, you brought it up, so yeah, you take the mantle. Go ahead.
Well, I decided to switch to orcs. For a while now, I've been playing Chaos Space Marines, and I was playing this version of a list, this possessed creations of bile sort of thing, and it was feeling pretty hordy, and I kind of liked it. I kind of liked the abilities it had to, control the movement phase, control your opponent's movement phase, just because you have so many models, and I'm a huge fan of the concept that your opponent's movement phase happens before their shooting phase. So if you've put stuff in their way and you haven't charged them, you've taken that space from them for a turn. They have to deal with you before they can move into that space because you're physically there and they physically can't move there. So rather than doing 60 possessed, I decided to up it to 90 boys, and I think a lot of it too is just the I don't know. I think the orcs are gonna be the winners of the 40K universe. I like the fact that they just aren't bogged down by all this, need to know and all that stuff and all these things. Like they just live for it, man. And so right now I'm painting up my 90 boys. I also have a Stomp on the way. I've got some Dragstas, some Mega Knobs. I got Gaz. I picked up Gaz in December, or I think it was December when he released.
just such a nice model. Like I don't even play orcs, and I just would like to have it just to paint it. Like honestly, it was probably actually wasn't it ranked like the number one model of
Yeah,
2020
it
on
won.
GW?
Yeah, it won. It's way nicer when it's actually in your hands. Like it's one thing to look at it, but it's a whole other thing to like actually own it. And yeah, it's a beautiful model. So I think I still haven't figured out quite how I'm going to run the orcs. I've
Well,
been
if you
hearing some.
dragged as you wanted to race us Eldar guys,
Hmm.
Yeah,
gonna line up and race.
yeah. But I want a real competent. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Ouch.
let's set up a Mad Max board. Instead of 4x6, we're gonna go like
I don't.
16x4, and we're just gonna drag race it. Venoms versus Dragsters. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Spoiler alert. Shock jump dragsters can teleport, so it's not really fair. Um, they have a you can take a squad of 3 and spend 1 CP to give them gyroscopic whirligigs, which basically instead of advancing, you can just pick it up and place it 9 inches away. And then there's another strat called drive-by crumping, where after you shoot, you can take it and move it back. So it's pretty fun. Um,
I don't know
but
what's better. I don't know what I like more about the orcs, the models themselves or the names.
yeah, it's all of it. It's all of it. So for me, I've always been very close combat oriented, and so naturally, I don't know. I'm leaning towards Goffs right now, but I don't know. There's some other stuff I want to mess around with too. Like they have so many good options. You know, um, Death Skulls, all infantry get OBSEC, so you can basically have Mega Knobs holding objectives or Storm Boys and stuff. Evil Sons get +1 to advance and charge, so they have a lot of fun things. So I'm going to be probably really pushing the orcs this year. That was sort of my plan for this year, was just to make that my new competitive army. Um, Not so much thinking I'm going to be winning tournaments and stuff. I think there's going to be a big learning curve because I played Space Marines for so long, and while orcs don't quite hold up to uh, to the current standards of the game's firepower so well.
Hmm.
So there's going to be a learning curve there, but I don't know. I'm excited. I'm also, I played Waste Scars for a good year there, and I got Space Marine fatigue. I think it's a real thing. I think quite a few people have experienced that. So
No, it's true. A lot of people that I talked to actually that where their primary army was Space Marines are looking at either a Xenos army or something just to give a different play style because it's
Well,
like
so everybody's beating it to death. Everyone's playing.
yeah,
Their dog is playing Space Marines right now.
yeah.
I don't I don't think it's a different play style. I'm gonna
Yeah.
contest that
But
because
it's when you
Space
show
Marines.
up and everyone's running Blade Guards and Eradicators. It's the same thing in every list.
Yes,
Come on,
they.
man. It's okay.
But you can you the I think one of the good things about Space Marine armies is you can almost whatever chapter you pick denotes how you want to play them. It's just I think the bigger thing for me is just there's been so many rule changes and FAQs and supplements and all that, and there was a while there where I felt like every 3 weeks a list I had wrote and felt good about became obsolete just because there were so many rules changing and all this, and it just I don't know, man. I just maybe once the hype sort of dies down and it becomes more steady, maybe I'll revisit it. But for right now, I don't know. It's just it's all I've heard about for the last little while, and I need a break. So
Yeah. No, definitely agree there. So I heard Mr. Gray in the background kind of saying something there. So what have you been working on for the
Man,
last year and a half?
Marines.
What
uh,
kind of Marines?
Iron Hands.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, you've
But
been playing Iron Hands for years upon end, so I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I have armies now that if I'm not going to be playing them straight through, but I'm still trying to get everything painted through because like you've played with them out and out, so you kind of want them to be all nice and pretty and playable.
Yeah, maybe we'll see Justin bring back Tau.
that's a probably maybe if there's enough Kroot. If they release some more Kroot models, I'll definitely.
You need a recruits like a supplement and then go to town.
Man, the old edition, you could run a pure Kroot mercenaries army. That was when I was starting to get into it, and my heart was broken when they got rid of it.
But
'Cause
you've actually. Oh, go ahead.
I bought a lot of crew. Like I was buying the crew toxes, the crew hounds. I wanted to get the crew T-Rex thing. I don't even know. It's been long since I made that model.
Well, it's actually funny. I follow a guy on Instagram, and he actually goes out and he buys like not the legit like dinosaur models, but he's made a full-on crew army that. It's beautiful. I can't remember his actual name on Instagram, but that's what it is, like a full-on T-Rex with the back saddles with a bunch of Croots all on them. This and that, like it was cool looking.
Yeah, they're a neat army. I remember in fifth edition playing them. No one ran them because they weren't they weren't good. But if you got that one terrain piece where you had trees, which never happened at the club, there was maybe like 3 pieces of terrain through the whole club that had trees. They got a cover save, which made them gods.
Maybe that's why they didn't want it there. They knew you had it.
Yeah, because cover saves were like invul saves back then.
Mm.
It was just fun.
Yeah, but besides your Marines, do you have anything else that you're kind of bucket listing for this year that you want to try to work at?
Yeah, me and my little brother split on a NIDS army, and he moved to Alberta. So I told him I'd paint it up, and then I was looking at it, and I was like, these guys might be fun to paint. And then I was looking at playing them. I was like, 30 Hermagants and Termagants would be pretty fun too.
And then this is where Justin gets into the contrast paints.
That and you were telling me before that the reason why you got out of Tau is they were a 2-phase army, and Tiernan's kind of checked the box on all that. They have psychic shooting, they have the combat and everything else.
Yeah, they definitely play the game all rounds. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I went to Marines in the first place, because I was playing Tau. So you get the movement phase and you get the shooting phase, and then you're done. That's pretty much it.
It's like that's how I feel with Drukhari.
Yeah, Drukhari would make do.
Yeah.
We can do without a psychic phase.
True.
And I kind of wanted to get out of Tau because I got out of Tau in 7th edition when they were pretty broken. Everybody started running them, so I was just
like the triple riptides and.
Yeah, I remember that.
Good days, right?
Well, yeah, I didn't buy any of the special ones because you didn't. Well, you could, but they were broken. But I try to avoid that. I'd usually only run 2, but my playstyle was more the crisis suits because back then you could move, shoot, and then jump back behind the cover. So I liked how mobile they were, plus like 3 devilfish with 6-man units of fire warriors in it to capture your objectives. So your army was pretty mobile. I didn't like how they kind of forced Tau in 8th edition to kind of go, I'm castling in this corner and pray to God that you don't. I shoot you before you kill me. Which I didn't like. Plus, like Marines, they cover all the phases. I get my psychic phase with my one librarian. I don't care if I get one smite off in like 4 turns though, like in my last game.
No, and that's the thing. It's like, especially with the armies that don't play all the phases, and like I said, Drukhari being one of them, and you need to lean on a little bit more. But with 9th, what I'm liking is where movement phase is so huge, and we can take advantage of it so well. I'm like, whatever. I don't need a psychic phase. I'm just gonna get into range to do my other crap, and then hope for the best.
Hey, some 2-phase armies are amazingly fun to play. Okay, I'm gonna say 2 words to you.
World Corn Berserkers.
Yes. Yes, I've played quite a few games now where it's just like moving phase done and charging.
And now I murder you.
Yeah. No, and now I fail, but
Blood God.
Yeah, because knowing me, I always fail like a 3-inch charge, so it never works for me.
Or
I'm playing against Admech and then I get shot to death. Stupid Admech.
Give Chaos Canticle with hate. Sounds more fitting anyway.
Okay. You know what? If they honestly ever came out with Dark Mechanicus, which they've hinted at for so long, I would so jump on that army so fast.
I think Squatch are going to come before that.
And you're probably right.
But I don't know. The combat phase is my favorite for sure. I'll give up a shooting and a psychic phase any day. I could never play Tau.
No, and I find especially in ninth right now where movement is so big, and if you can use your charge to its full compatibility, especially with like your pylons and your it's
Consolidates and
well exactly. You can tie
extra
stuff
movement.
up that they can't stop you from doing as long as you do it right.
Yeah, it was better in 8th, but I get where you're going.
Yeah.
In ninth, the movement matters more. Um, just for getting on those objectives and getting your secondaries and stuff. But yeah, there's anyone who plays any army. I've said it for a long time now. If you don't play a close combat oriented army, do yourself a favor and at least pick one up for fun and try and get it down. Because if your intention isn't to play that army, at least when you're playing against those armies, you'll be better suited to know how to defend yourself against it. Because
Definitely.
otherwise, someone's going to come along and they're going to be very savvy in the combat phase, and the whole game's just going to feel like a gotcha when it's just like the rules.
Well, and that's the
So,
thing, especially like I said, if you don't familiarize yourself with it, and especially if you're a player, it's like, oh, I always kill everything before it gets to me. It's like there's gonna be that one game that you're not going to, and you're not gonna know what to do.
It's kind of
yeah,
like when Kier showed up for the first time with the Space Wolves and he's pulling all this janky shit through the movement and combat phase, and I'm like, what is even happening?
nothing of the sort.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein was beautiful.
It was art.
I can feel a tear coming down my cheek now in memory of them.
I remember that when I played against Pete in the tournament when 8th edition first came out. It was just like I lined up and I was just like, I got him. And then Pete was just like, by the way, I got a movement at the beginning of the game. And then I got first turn. And I was like, oh no.
Yes.
Oh, is that when he was running his Custodes, Blood Angel list or whatnot?
That was
Yeah,
the Blood Angels right there for Lawrence Fury.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, he was running his Custodes. I remember I had a las cannon squad that was pretty lucky. It killed all his guys, and he just stopped, looked at me, he's just like, that shouldn't have happened. And then he proceeded to table me, but
but it was just that for that one glorious moment you had hope.
The fabled las cannon. I remember this gun.
yeah.
So is nobody gonna ask me what I'm working on? Come on, guys.
What
I know
are
I'm
you
the host and
working
all,
on,
but you can
Dan?
ask me questions.
Danny, every episode, all you talk about is what you're playing. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Are you doing something new?
hey.
That's the real question. What's new that you're doing?
Okay.
I know
So
the answer, but
I'm doing something new, but is all hell.
yes.
So, because when I first got into this hobby, my first army was Black Legion. I had a complete 2,000 point list, painted, not very well, painted, very outdated now. And over the last year or so, I managed to get my hands on a lot of just start collecting boxes and what was a Shadow Spear. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to start from scratch and remake my whole Black Legion army. I got the man himself in front of me, Abaddon. I got like 6-0 Blitz, 25 Marines, Master of Possession, Reaper Chain guys, and I'm just for fun. If I might not even be able to play these guys. And by not be able to play these, maybe I just rather play my Drukhari. But I just want to get them painted up just to have painted and look at them all nicely and kind of be able to look back and be like, this is the army I started with.
There's going to be that one time you just roll up and it ain't going to be Drukhari. It's going to be a pain train.
And it's going to be Khorne Demons.
I just like that you talked about all these units when your Rio plan is to run Abaddon and the Chitin train.
Hey, if I can do it, I will do it.
Abaddon and 3 Black Legion Chitin Ravagers. Fight me.
You know what? I got one here.
I know you do.
I can always proxy like 2 of my knights. You know what? Maybe I will try that.
You should.
But no, Black Legion definitely. But also with the Drukhari book coming out, those are also sitting next to my desk. And as soon as these guys are done, it's going to be full tilt Drukhari painting.
Okay, so you two are Drukhari players.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, and obviously there hasn't been any leaks about the book. So just
the only thing we got is beautiful Incubi.
Oh man, that's all I need is
so-
that Incubi. That's all I need. Like just that alone was just like gave me so much hope.
The fact
Humor
that
me.
they're going to go in and kill intercessors, I'm happy.
Humor me. What are some units that you hope for Jakari are going to be auto take?
Well, before
You already
even
said
auto,
Incubi.
yeah, Incubi is definitely going to be an auto take just because they got such a huge boost. Like they finally feel like an elite army that or elite unit that they were supposed to. But I'm just hoping to have a little bit heavier firepower because everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, you guys have tons of heavy firepower." It's like, yes, but no. Like we have our dark lances, which is a last cannon shot. We have our blasters, which is essentially a melt the shot. But for an army that's supposed to be super shooty and super quick and supposed to dish out the pain, I find I get more pain thrown back at me before I can even kill something off the board. So I'm hoping, because right now warriors are too expensive for what they do to have poison shots. I'm hoping that they change the wording to poison and give it a little bit more viability. Because like I could be there shooting a friggin' grot or whatever that has like toughness 2, but I'm still wounding you on
Hey, man,
fours.
what did I do to you?
Hey. I'm still only hitting you on 4, so technically nothing.
Fair enough.
But no, I'm hoping
0
that
AP. So you're taking that on your 6 out.
Well, I'm a Grodd anyway, so if you don't kill me, one of my boys is going to anyway. So go on.
But no, my main hope is I want to have better warriors is what I'm gonna probably say, and also venoms that can carry 6 people. That's my
I would
wish
say
list right
throw
there.
a character into that.
So you're on the speed transport train. That's what you're hoping for. So it sounds like.
Like I want to be able to get around. Like, hey, Harlequins have it. Why can't we have it? Come on. I want to be able to fit that character in with a 5-man unit and run around the table.
Okay. All right. Very interesting.
And actually, that's what I hear. A lot of people say the same thing. Just give us that one more man capacity. How
So
about
you
you,
want-
Brian? Oh, go ahead.
Because, I started Drukari heavy into the Coven stuff, so I'd really like to see Rax get tougher, especially where everything else is getting tougher, and that was our tough unit in Prophets of the Flesh.
I can
Are
see
they
them gain 2
T5?
wounds.
Huh?
No
They
T4,
T4.
strength 3, T4. But I
They're
can see
T3, I think, unless the homunculus around.
Just give me a sec. I got a
Unless
book
it's
here.
T4 with the homunculus around and you get tough 5. But
I
the
got my
homunculus
book
gives them
here.
+1 toughness. But I'd like to see them go up 2 wounds.
Rax right here, strength 3, tough 4, 1 wound. So I can see them going up to 2 wounds.
I would like to see them go 2 wounds. That would be a big deal for me where I'm Coven heavy. But the big thing I'd like to see is Hellions becoming usable or...
Yeah, so I can finally use my 20.
Yeah. And I'd like to see Scourges get a point decrease or get better for what they do. Like 135 points to drop in to kill something, and then they're
you
just
die.
gone because the 6-up invulse. It's not worth it to me, especially for the other stuff we have in the army. So I'd like to see Scourges and Racks, to be honest. And I'd like to see Hellions get love because I really want them because of the Green Goblin riding thing. But
I'm sad to hear that my next army is going to be Horde Witches because it sounds like that's the only way I'm going to get to see them get played.
Hey,
well, I got witches too, and
I got 30
I've been really
witches.
enjoying them. So.
What are these numbers? 30?
Yes, because I want
come
to
in
play
here.
them MSU style. I want to
I
run a
said-
bunch of small units and just
said
harass the
Horde
crap out of the
Witches.
board.
I said Horde Witches, and you come at me with 30. Come
Don't be
on,
rookie,
man.
man.
And you play Black Legion? Good lord, dude. You should be...
Hey.
You should have like 90 cultists in front of you right now being painted.
See, I'm not like you. I'm not going to do that to myself. I'd rather paint 25 trimmed Marines.
Trimmed?
Yes, because all I'm doing is the armor trim. That's all. Screw the rest.
I know.
The
I
prime
know,
black. That's good.
I know what you mean. It's just it's not what people are thinking.
Well, it's better than Brian tell him waiting for people to beat him off on something. But you know,
but, I mean, you can't fault someone for honesty.
true. But
So-
no,
So
go ahead.
you're going Coven, and you're going Cabal, Danny.
I've always played Cabal since I first started playing him. I was always full on Cabal, and I did quite
That's
well.
what made us different. Like when I started Drukari, Dan was the guy I'd go see, but we could play each other, and we were 2 completely different armies. That's what drew me to Dark Eldar.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about Hesperax, the new
Ah.
Hesperax.
I'm super excited for that.
Man, you know what? Like, I don't know why it gets so much hate. It's just like the model's beautiful. Like, it's action pose. It's like she's going to go fuck shit up, and then she's going to take some heads.
Her
I've
face
already
is
got
gross.
someone to split the sister's half with me, and I'm getting that, and that'll boost my witches even more. I still have a box of witches to build after I'm done these 15 incubi I'm currently working on.
I liked her more when she was emotionless. She seemed like a
Yeah.
cold killer. I don't like her as much with the like yelling face. Like I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that's partially through the heavy metal paint styles that they do. They highlight everything too much.
Maybe that could be it. I'm not sure.
I think once we see the different paint schemes come out, she'll
Well,
look a lot different.
exactly.
Well, I just I spent several minutes on this selling contrast paint, so my opinion as a painter is not going to be voiced here.
But no,
Whatever the recesses allow, baby. That's the
Oh.
face she's gonna get.
It's like one eye's kind of going one way, the other one is she looking at two opponents at once? You know, I don't know. But I'm still rocking the old pewter model, man.
I like
Like,
the old Lilith model.
yeah, like she
I didn't
is
think
a
it needed to be updated.
beast.
If I had to look at the Jakari range of characters and pick out one model that definitely didn't need a new one, I probably would have said her.
No, but I think it's because she doesn't have a plastic model yet. Like Drazar got one, Archon got one. The only other one that would need one now would be the Homunculus and Urian Rakarth, because they're
Yeah.
also still fail cast.
I can't wait till Urian gets a fucking plastic model. Pardon my French, but
But to be honest, whenever they actually switched the racks over, I'm surprised they didn't do a little bit more. Like the grotesques are still fail cast. Like the whole line is like
I don't think we're gonna see
Drukari is probably one of those
plastic
armies
grotesques.
that probably has the most fail cast still in their lineup between like all the beast
Oof.
packs are still all there. The grots are still there. The
I hope there's no Tyranid players hearing that.
eh.
It's not my fault they bought 90 of that model.
They're right, yeah. What about the rumors of Vect getting released as a super heavy?
I
would
would love
like
to
to see
see
it.
it, but I doubt it.
I
They
just made
took
that
them
up.
away from us. I can't see them giving it back.
I just made that up anyway, so
Yeah.
it's good.
But that's been rumors for freaking like 20 years now, even though it's not
Fox.
been 20 years.
Yeah, that
But
must
no,
be painful being a Chaos and Drakari player. And you're always sharing about how Fulgrim's going to come out, and EC's going to get their own codex, and Anagrong's going to come back, and
Angron's gonna come and stomp faces and watch. And maybe 5 years from now, what's going to happen?
he's going to
Yeah,
have
But
a
you know
thing
what?
where if you
But
roll
in
a one,
12th
you don't get to
edition,
fight.
you might get it.
12th edition.
but here's the thing.
2024.
But here's the thing. I was reading an article, and something stood out to me where they said even all the Primarchs will come to face in battle. So I mean, right now we have 3 Primarchs. So if they emphasize on the whole all the Primarchs, like,
Yeah,
hey,
that would
maybe
make
this
more
is their kind of
sense.
subtle way of being like, we're going to start seeing a couple more now.
Yeah, but if you think about it, as soon as they get a slight presence of the Emperor's power, they go running, just like Mokhtarian did back into the warp.
Yeah, then now Typhus is coming. In
You
that
guys
war,
messed up. Typhus is the one that converted Mortarian, so who's the real Primarch?
Uh,
I think.
oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. I think EC and World Leaders are deserving of their own supplements and potentially a Primarch model.
Well, I mean, especially like they're the only 2 Chaos gods that don't have them yet. Because, like I said, you got the T Suns and you got the Death Guard, which there's your 2 Chaos gods with their primer and their separate book. And like you said, it's only time before Emperor's Children and World Eaters follow suit to get a book, hopefully. But
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna hold my breath.
yeah,
I don't know. I'd love to see it where they start bringing back the Primarchs because I love everything about them in lore.
It was pretty cool that Silent King made it come. He came down.
he made it come.
He
Yeah.
made it come. Made it come back. Climbed out of the gutter.
He didn't say that though. There you go. We can forget about the other people jacking you off now or whatever.
No,
It's neat. I like the fact that they brought Silent King back into the game and all
Well, I
that
mean,
stuff. His model's gorgeous. I like the model.
But I mean, I think the problem with it is when they introduce characters back like this, it's always going to be through large events in the story.
Yeah.
So
that's
obviously they're not going to be throwing the story at too far ahead. So that's why it's like it takes so long for these characters to come out.
Yeah.
And they have like, if they follow the novels too, like everything ties in together. So it's like we still got to remember. I'm sitting here praying and hoping that the Fulgrim clone that the Necrons have actually makes an appearance and fights the demon Primarch Fulgrim. I'd
And
be
then
like,
dies another death.
oh no, I'd be a fangirl all over that part. If they made a book on that, or even you could play either a loyalist one or a chaos one, because in lore, the clone one knows everything that his true self did, and he regrets and he feels sorrow for it, which is kind of cool.
If they were to release another Primarch, I think it's either going to be Lion or Russ or Khan. I can't see it being a demon Primarch.
Really?
Well, I
With
mean,
with
two demon and
Mortarion
only
and
one
Magnus around
loyalist.
now, with only Gilliman on the loyalist side, I can see them getting another loyalist. Space Marines are the kind of the meta right now. Everyone's in love with them for some god unknown reason.
They're
I
the
feel
poster boys. That's why.
yeah, I feel it would be the Lionel Johnson who would come back.
I don't know.
Well, I
There's
mean,
no single word coming out of either of your mouths right now.
I know it hurts, but
Boo.
just speak it the way it is.
Boo.
or you know what?
I'm not for this. I'm chaos.
Cypher
Chaos.
is just gonna come back and just screw everything up and be like, "I am the Emperor."
Oh, come
There,
on,
problem
Dan.
solved. Problem
Thank
solved.
God
Just
you
right
don't
there.
write for GW, man. Jeez.
You're,
I would sell millions.
It's called, the
Well,
book is called I Am the Emperor.
I am the Emperor. I am Alfarius. Okay. All right. Well, we're pretty deep into the episode right now, so how about we kind of take a little bit of a different approach? So, future plans as far as the channel goes. So, again, I'm going to say it again. Leave some comments, guys. If you want to see us try some different stuff out, if you guys want to see some topics, throw it out there. Like, we're always willing to try something new on this channel just to get things kind of fresh, kind of going up. But the biggest thing that we are going to be trying in 2021, and unfortunately, we were actually supposed to take our first crack at it this weekend, but because we got thrown back into the orange phase, it's been kind of put back on. But we are hoping to get some battle reports to you guys. We're going to be kind of testing out a couple of different platforms of them because there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of them that goes from just kind of recap battle reps to full on live streams to like 4 hour long bat reps. So like we're going to kind of test run, see what's going to work best for us because honestly, editing one of those definitely takes a lot of time and effort, and we don't get paid for this. We're just doing this for the fun of it.
Also, if you
And
listen this long, let Dan know in the comments which style of bat rep you like most. Do you like the long ones or you like them shorter?
so the long
Good
ones,
Lord.
just keep in mind, it'll be Brian working on them. The shorter ones will be me. But no, we're definitely going to be, and we're going to be trying different styles. But like myself and Kier last year, we kind of, I say last year as it was that long ago, but about a month or so ago, we recorded an episode. It hasn't been released yet, but it's kind of an idea that I've not seen online yet because obviously basic battle reps are done everywhere. But we want to do something that's going to be a little bit differently. And we had an episode where we kind of recorded, it was all about Khorne. We talked about from the world eaters to the demons. So what we're going to be trying to do is essentially choose a faction, obviously Khorne being the first one, and we're going to make anywhere from 1,000 points, 1,500, 2,000, whatever size game we decide to have. But it's going to be kind of like a civil war battle where when we take the codex, we each make a list in secret and play them against each other. And that's going to be kind of the series. And it'd be kind of one of those things. Like we'll probably put some polls up on Facebook and being like, hey, do you think a Khorne possessed list versus a Khorne complete berserker list with demons? Which one do you think will win? We play it out and kind of see from there who was right. That's kind of one idea we were kind of playing at. We're also playing at the idea of just like you said, just kind of do essentially you play the game. We don't kind of record the whole entire thing out, but as like say the movement phase is done, be like, hey, so in the movement phase, I move this guy here, I move that guy there. Just quick recap, keep it nice and short. But if you guys do enjoy the longer episodes, then we can always kind of like bounce back and forth depending on who's recording the episode. Because obviously, between us, between guests that we bring on, we'll definitely be trying some different stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you could always do both as well. Like have one and then have the TLDW, too long didn't watch version of each one. And then then people can just sort of see what happens and stuff like that. Another thing we were talking about was like an RTT between the four of us, which I thought was a cool idea. Though we might be able to get if we can get all the streaming set up and everything like that, then once once the COVID restrictions are loosened up again, that might be something that could come too.
Yeah, like every couple of months, just switch up some lists and that. Just be nice, quick, like you said, full on live stream. Like we'll get a Twitch channel going on once we can get everything set up. Because again, that's what we were supposed to do this weekend, was to see, as far as equipment wise, are we well equipped to actually do it? Because doing basic bat reps and full live stream obviously is going to be two different strains on what you can actually do. And like you said, with your like the tournament style, like I would love to have that as a live stream, just have people chatting along while we're doing it.
Yeah. To summarize, streaming is the big goal this year. And we definitely like to get some feedback on what format you all prefer. Just to kind of help guide us in starting to create that content.
Yeah, because we're all going to be brand new. Like none of us have done a bat rep. I think I've done one a couple years back whenever we were actually at the Level Up club. We were actually playing with the idea of bat reps, and it's still floating around somewhere. I had a game against Mr. Craig MacArthur. But besides that, none of us have really been on stream, or at least I don't think so.
So we're not that pretty to look at.
No, but I mean, we're looking at the
we also
models.
Don't know what we're doing. We have to learn the editing and all that stuff too. So you got to be patient with us.
Exactly. But like I said, if you guys enjoy it and you let us know by leaving a nice comment and a nice thumbs up in the comments below, we'll definitely put 110% rather than 105%.
Yeah, and it gives us and with the streaming, it does give us the motivation to paint these guys, because it hurts so much painting. But I'm actually gonna have a fully painted army now that will look decent on the table after 11 plus years of playing this game.
You weren't supposed to tell them how long.
Okay, it lied. I bought a fully painted army of Tau once, and I used that. I stopped painting after that.
Like, screw it, I'm done. Do the job for it. But hey, at the end of the day, it's almost like having somebody doing commission work for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy it when I played against him. He was at the gaming club when he quit. I was just like, I like your army is beautiful.
May I have it?
Pretty much.
I like painting. And relaxing.
Oh yeah. It just
I
takes
do
so
too.
long.
Oh, the 10 Incubi are finally done.
Now get on doing your witches.
It's either Witches, Tantalus, or Blood Bowl, and I got Blood Bowl beside me. The rest of it's upstairs.
So Blood Bowl it is.
Blood Bowl.
Huh?
I said, I don't think we're streaming Blood Bowl.
No.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I actually have the old pewter models of my high elves for Blood Bowl. If I can learn how to play it, hey, you never know. It'd be definitely a lot shorter of a game.
Well, there's a few guys at the club that have been getting into it, and for me, it's a shorter game. It's easier for me to go out on a Tuesday night when the club's open and play a game of that, opposed to a 40K, and I can set up a 40K game on the weekend or something. But,
yeah, take your time playing.
Yeah.
Craig destroyed me in that game so bad that I'll never play it again. Just playing a game. He's like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna kill like 4 of your characters this one game. Hurt my soul.
Yeah.
In Blood Bowl.
In Blood Bowl, yeah.
I know nothing.
Same.
Football.
I've never played. I don't even know football, so you're talking. Yeah, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
It's like I was fresh into this, and it's just like, let's play a league, and then I proceeded to be like, oh God, no, I do not know how to play this game.
I resign right now.
I played one game where the whole match I played trying to pick up the ball, couldn't pick it up.
You have to like roll to do that or something, or
Well, it's like if it's raining, you get -1 to pick it up, and if there's other people around it, you get -1 to pick it up, and then you just got to roll. And I was just rolling garbage, and I was playing elves, and I was just like, "Good game."
And I was gonna
Zeros.
say, isn't L's like supposed to be that much more limber to actually be able to do agility stuff like that?
Yeah, they're
they're
supposed
too
to.
feminine for football.
They do pirouettes over them and dodge.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then my next game, I had the pleasure of playing Craig, where he proceeded to kill like 4 of my characters.
I can just see him slowly just breaking them in half and just be like, go sit down. We're done.
Well, he sounds like he did a really good job getting you into Blood Bowl.
Yeah, he did a wonderful job.
That was like my introductory game to 40K.
Well, boys, we hit the 1 hour mark. I think we've sat and chat enough for right now. I think people by this time have already either clicked away or they're, still hearing us ramble on. And hey, I thank you guys for sticking around and actually hear us ramble on. Again, let us know in the comments. Do you like hearing us ramble on more?
Yeah, it's a bit of a different approach than we usually do, so
No, true.
give us some of that feedback.
And I mean, Brian already tried his hand actually at the live stream painting. And live streaming is like Kier was saying, like with the actual bat reps. But we're also going to be trying to do a little bit more live streaming as far as just paint sessions, just where you can kind of just sit down with us, paint along, ask some questions.
Yeah, especially if like we get our Twitch set up and we can do the 4 screens and we can just show you what we're working on while we're talking. That'd be pretty cool too. But...
Yeah, because we can even make this like a monthly thing where we just kind of sit down, kind of just like Brian said, show us what we're working on, what's some of the stuff that we've done in the last little bit, what have we been recording, what's coming up in the next month, kind of do a little bit of recap. But
see my table right now, you'd be scared.
Is it because it's about to fall apart? Because isn't it just like a piece of drywall?
It is drywall on a sawhorse, okay, but it does have 10 Incubi, a few obliterators, some chaos, lots of Slanesh.
Okay, Brian, have you seen my desk in the last little bit?
Yeah, but Slanesh is better.
Yeah, but like, look at this. Look at this. And it goes on all over there.
It's beautiful.
I got like the nice, great unclean one right there.
Look, that's way better than the green on Justin's table.
There's white. There's white. It's green and white, and now black is going on. Things are slowly getting there. At least I have the sweet color minimum.
That's all that counts.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I think it's about time to give her a little bit of a wrap up. So again, thank you guys for sticking around, listening to us mumble on for a little bit. So pretty much have a good night, guys. Thank you guys for joining me.
Stay safe.
Yep.
Yes, don't go licking toilet seats, because that's why everybody is still sick. All right. All right, guys. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you guys all soon.
Night.
Peace.